Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz, and this is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of their upcoming game matchups. So, this week, the Texans will be going on the road to take on the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football, in a game that's probably really important to a lot of people for a lot of non-football reasons, but I'll get into all that in just a few minutes. First off, I want to do a quick game recap, unfortunately. Texans lost 26-23 Sunday night against the Detroit Lions, and I'm pretty sure my timeline has been filled with just as much game film as the Texans players themselves have had to watch this past week. Couple things about this game: utter collapse in the second half. So Texans go up 23-27 at halftime, and you know, I should. This is how I knew things was gonna get bad. So I guess they did the interview with Lions head coach Dan Campbell, either before he went into the locker room or after he was coming out of the locker room, and so they played the recording of the interview while the game was starting in the second half. And so one of the things he said was, our team needs to come out here and get an interception. And as soon as he's like saying that, or while they're playing the interview, CJ Stroud just throws an interception right then and there. And so, yeah, it's not funny, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, it was kind of screwed up. So from that point on, I guess everybody should have been like, yeah, this this really ain't finna go well. So that was just, what I'm saying, one of the miscues. Um, Offensive line, another multi-sack game that they had, and also Kaimi Fairbairn missed another field goal that really could have put us up and gave us the win. Um, a couple of plays that was that it just wasn't the O line. Obviously, the Stroud interception at the top of the second half. Then he threw another interception to when he was trying to get the ball to Tank Dell when Dell was wide open in the end zone, but apparently Stroud threw it a little bit late, and so it actually allowed for it actually allowed for Carlton Davis to like catch up to it and intercept it, and yeah, it was just one of those nights for us. Um, so yeah, really, to wrap this up, man, it was a waste of a defensive performance, mind you. Mind you, the defense, gave up points in the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter. But it was a waste of a performance where you saw the defense record 5 interceptions this entire game. And so 5 interceptions isn't anything to like sneeze at. That's a pretty big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like on any level of quarterback. And especially against a quarterback whose name has kind of been thrown around in the MVP race. Jared Goff, he might he's probably going to finish like a distant second from Lamar Jackson, but he's having a tremendous year, leading the league in completion percentage, which makes this even worse because what I'm saying, we were able to get all these interceptions off a guy that leads the league in completion percentage. So um, shout out to the defense for holding down, but still you got to get it done. So with that being said, I want to move on to a couple of topics that's been on my mind, particularly this week. Texans lose, so all chaos is going to be let loose, of course, especially on my timelines. One of the things that stood out to me this past week um, was running back Joe Mixon. He mentioned that the team had a players only meeting, and so that kind of stopped me right there. Like that kind of caught my attention. Like, y'all had a what? Like, so I don't know. To me personally, um, when I hear the term players only meeting, it's some bullshit going on. Like for real, for real. Um, Anytime I've heard, it's like something's going awry, there's chaos happening. There's an issue that's really deep that can't be solved right now. So um, to put it like this, anytime I hear a players only meeting being reported, um, it's usually one or two things happening are going on. So a team is that's having these player only meetings. Um, they're struggling from the gate. You know what I'm saying? They've been struggling for a while since the start of the season, and don't look like they're getting better. So they want to, you know what I'm saying, kind of take a break. Like, hey, let's regroup, see what's going on, what we got to do. Um, the other team that's usually in the situations, they had a good start. You know what I'm saying? Things are peachy at first, then all of a sudden they hit a little snag. Now everything's going downhill. So that's kind of where I seen the profiles for a players only meeting. You know what I'm saying? And so to me, I feel like the Texans feel like they're probably in the latter group a little bit, and that's fair. And I get the expectations and all that, but with that being said, like when these meetings happen, um, I never really, personally, I never see, just the turnaround results that come from it. You know what I'm saying? It might be a little bit of something that's, that comes up that's a little positive or whatever. But for the most part, it's never like something just glaringly fixed. You know what I'm saying? In most cases I've seen, it's either gotten worse, and sometimes it's gotten worse to the point where, a coach has gotten fired. You know what I'm saying? I saw somebody, hint that, these player only meetings could, hint at, D'Amico losing the team. And that's just crazy. And I'll get into crazy in just a few. So, um, really, I'm not a to be frank, I'm not a fan of these player only meetings, uh, and especially if they're happening, with my team. You know what I'm saying? So, um, and then Mixon was reportedly saying that there's going to be a second meeting and a third meeting, and now I'm like, all right, stop. If you didn't get it done with the first meeting, I don't see how you're gonna get it done with the second and third, unless this just becomes, unless the story that that, or well, it wasn't even a story that reported. He literally said that in the press conference, but um, unless you just feel like this is something that's need to be added, you know what I'm saying, to kind of address some things or whatever, because it's always the same thing in these player only meetings when they report them. Oh, we came together, we had to air out our grievances, we had to hold people accountable, stuff like that. And look, maybe this is just something that needs to be ongoing that they feel, and maybe not. You know what I'm saying? Mixon, he's one of the players that's been like heralded as like he's been heralded as one of like the leaders in the locker room, and that says a lot for somebody that just got here this year. Um, so yeah, just to close the door on that topic, no player only meetings for me. Stop it. let's let's get back. You know what I'm saying? Y'all put in the work, address what y'all need to address, but yeah, let's stop the meetings. So, but anyway, I've never been an NFL player, so whatever. Anyway, so yeah, this leads me to my feelings about the season, and I brought this topic up because it's a lot of opinions on this year so far, um, and rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? It's opinions on coaches, uh, Bobby Slowick, you know what I'm saying, D'Amico Ryans. It's opinions on the O line, who should be benched, what they should do with the O line, who they should trade for, blah, blah, blah. All types of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Opinions thrown around on Stroud, the opinions thrown around on Tank Dell might have been, So it's just a whole bunch of feelings just thrown around about the season, and rightfully so. It's a kind of a tough time right now. We lost what I think this is a third straight loss. You know what I'm saying? So um, it's it's rough out here. It's definitely rough. Actually, no, excuse me, two straight losses because this is after. Um, yeah, this is after the Indianapolis game. So we swept Indy, but anyway, point I'm making is this: a lot of feelings being thrown around about this season. So the way I kind of decipher these feelings is expectations and delusions and reality. So I want to get with expectations and delusions because I kind of feel like they go hand in hand a little bit. It's a thin line. It's actually a thin line between them. So with expectations, um, I think a lot of, and not just fans, I think a lot of analysts felt like this team that's put together with, you know, returning coach and D'Amico Ryans, returning offensive coordinator and Bobby Slowick, with C.J. Stroud coming into his second season. I think for the most part, um, people felt that this team could really make a good sizable run into the playoffs. Probably even into the conference championship. Probably even to challenge the Kansas City Chiefs, conference championship or not. You know what I'm saying? So just to challenge KC is, a thing in itself. So I feel like a lot of people just held those expectations on us. And it kind of goes back, to the players only meetings. You know what I'm saying? One of the groups of teams that has those are is going to be a team that has high expectations on itself and, expected to really just deliver, but haven't delivered. You know what I'm saying? So um, with the Texans, I feel like they had the high expectations. They made the big moves to get Danielle Hunter, to get Joe Mixon, to get Stephon Diggs. They got Kamari Kamari Lassiter in the second round, and that's been a quiet pick, but it's been a proven pick. So they got somebody they feel in the future can, really play opposite Derek Stingley and put pressure on these receivers. So it's been a real. The expectations have been fair. You know what I'm saying? People think that they could probably go far. The delusions come in is maybe the delusions come in as far as like being the team that can actually challenge the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? And so it's the reason I say it's a thin line between expectations and delusions because it's like, this is a pretty good, decent team. But the delusion is that are you sure that can really beat so are you really sure that can challenge this team, challenge the Kansas City Chiefs like that, or any team, or just get to the AFC championship like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's maybe it should have been like, let's take it a step at a time. You know what I'm saying? So mind you, this team just won the division title, like coming off of 3 straight years of fired coaches, trading away, you know, good players for bad picks, bringing in random, kind of equivalent to like random players off the street, mind you. Um, you know what I'm saying? Just going through quote unquote controversy with certain players. So it's a team that kind of came off of that last season, and you know what I'm saying, they really just out. In a sense, you would have to be fair. You would probably have to say that they kind of snuck in uh, to the playoffs a little bit, considering they had to like win it on that last weekend. And as opposed to this year, I don't think they're going to sneak in to the playoffs. They're definitely going to win this division, but um, the delusion is like, that we got all these expectations for them, but are these realistic expectations? And so when we talk about, I talk about there's a thin line between expectations and delusions. When you decipher those out, you get reality. So the reality is, yes, the Texans are a very good team. They put together a good, they're very good roster in the offseason, in this past offseason. However, they're kind of just learning how to win. This is a young group thrown around with different pieces for everywhere. They're kind of learning like how to win in these big games. You know what I'm saying? Like a couple of these guys have been here when it was just losing. You know what I'm saying? They've been here for like 2 or 3 years when we were just losing. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Derek Stingley, Jalen Petrie. You know what I'm saying? They remember those tough like 2 or 3 years where it was nothing but losing, and now it's like they finally they're finally here for like, you know what I'm saying, the winning side of things. um and so the reality is, last season they got a taste of winning. You know what I'm saying? They got a taste of what it was like to actually win games and quality games at that, and get into the playoffs, play for like real postseason games. Um, and so that was just last season. This year, it looks like they might be repeating that, but maybe just repeating that. You know what I'm saying? That obviously the Texans are going to win this division. Everybody else in this AFC South is just, I don't know, discombobulated for the most part. Jacksonville, their quarterback is hurt. Indianapolis, I don't know what they're doing with their quarterback or their team. In Tennessee, they're just finna be. If they're not rebuilding now, they're working towards setting up for a rebuild this season. So um, the reality is they're going to win this division. The reality also is that just might be the highlight of what they actually accomplish. You know what I'm saying? As far as like getting to the postseason, they might just win this division and that's it. It might not be nothing more. You know, they might fall into, the third or fourth seed, um, in the playoffs. And, you know what I'm saying? They just might have to take it from there. Like, it's that's just where we are with this team right now. They have a lot of things that they need to fix. Um, this is a second year for a lot of these guys. So yeah, CJ Stroud, he's in his second year. D'Amico Ryans, he's in his second year. Bobby Sloak, he's in his second year. So really, it's all about these guys. These guys have to have like kind of have their adjustments going into this next season. Yeah, and for this current season, if you will, and they kind of have to just go in there, just really work through it, just fix things, and that's something that D'Amico has preached. Especially a lot of these press conferences, a lot of these interviews from this week, is like, you know what I'm saying? It's something that we gotta just work through. He gave the analogy of like, the escalator and the stairs, and so obviously, you know what I'm saying, you're taking the stairs to get stronger as opposed to the elevator. And you know what I'm saying, that's kind of the message that he's driving home to this team. You know what I'm saying, that things are going to get tougher. So um yeah, pretty much it's just a reality of where we're at right now. Like, the team is going through some tough times and they got to figure some things out. And I don't think a players only meeting is going to help. I don't think firing any of the coaches right now is going to help either. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Slow just has to figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, then maybe you had a conversation of firing him at the end of the year. I don't think it's going to be beneficial for anybody if you get rid of him right now. Then I'm like, yo, some idiot talking about get rid of D'Amico Ryans. Like, I get it. The players only meeting, people will be like, oh, he's lost the players. Like, no, stop it. Like, like, give him a chance now. Like, for real, for real. That's how ridiculous this sounds. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I think that's so. Yeah, basically, that's just the reality where we are right now. We're in a tough spot. You know what I'm saying? And even though we're in that tough spot, we're going to win this division. There's not a chance that there's just too much dysfunction with these other teams in the AFC South that we don't have. You know what I'm saying? Like, we going through some things with our offense right now, but and mind you, we also have been dealing with injuries. That seems to be like something that's kind of really just forgotten. You know what I'm saying? The injuries have played a major part in how we're dealing with things. Hell, Christian Harris is still out, and I damn near forgot he played for this team. You know what I'm saying? Nico Collins, we're waiting on him to come back. Hopefully, he'll be back this week. So that's just pretty much the reality right now. So moving on from that, um, injuries. So DNP for Lassiter, Anderson, Fatukasi, and Stingley. I'm recording on a Thursday, so I got some things to do, aka watch Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul tomorrow. So I want to go ahead and get this knocked out the way. So these injuries might change later on as the game nears closer. Um, I know Autry had a DNP, but they said it was for rest. So well, it's Thursday. This is probably usually like, if it was a regular Sunday, this is probably usually like Wednesday type of report. But yeah, since it's Thursday, things could change between Friday, Saturday, possibly even Sunday. So We'll see. All right. So after all that, let's get into the game. And look, man, Texans got the Cowboys this week on the road, Monday Night Football, and pretty much it's like this. The the Texans and the Cowboys rivalry is not a rivalry that really is celebrated by a lot of teams outside of Texas. All the rivalries that are kind of celebrated in the NFL, a lot of them have to do with division rivalries, playoff rivalries. Um, there's like one or two that's everybody kind of recognizes as like an interstate type of rivalry. Um, one of those being the yeah, as an interstate rivalry that's not within the division. One of those is the San Francisco 49ers and the when they were the Oakland Raiders. I don't know how they do it now, but definitely something that was back in that day when the Raiders were in the same state as the 49ers. That was a real like thing. You know what I'm saying? That was a real rivalry. Might not be the case no more since the Raiders are in Vegas, but with the Texans and the Cowboys, it's a little bit different. Again, I'm saying it because I don't know how the Niners and the Raiders fans kind of work, but with the Texans and the Cowboys, it's different. Because every time I've come on here and talked about this game in particular, I always say like, the Cowboys, they are listen, that we've all known some Cowboy fans in our lives. Texans fans know Cowboy fans like from birth. You know what I'm saying? They are uncles, aunts, cousins, co-workers, bosses, employees, neighbors, teachers, friends. Just we grown up with Cowboys fans as much as we want to admit it. And yeah, Cowboys have been here since the beginning of time. Texans been here this century. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So obviously they got the head start on us. They already reached out to just about every person in our life, damn near. So they're gonna be strong. You know what I'm saying? Their representation is gonna be strong. With that being said, as a Texans fan, we kind of sick of it, and we've been sick of it, especially like in this century. Like the Cowboys haven't been the Cowboys, uh, of yesteryear. You know what I'm saying? And yet their fans still act like they're the Cowboys of yesteryear. And it's just crazy annoying. And so, and to be honest with you, it's just one of those like fun things that we kind of go back and forth with. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I said, it's a lot of family, friends that we know, and at the end of the day, we gonna all eat at Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. Just kick it and just talk noise to each other about our teams. So yeah, but this particular year, things a little bit different than last time. So last time we played the Cowboys, they was up, we was down and out. We had Davis Mills as our quarterback, and I think um, was also the Jeff Driscoll was the backup, but he was also they were kind of running them in and out for some gadget plays. And mind you, it was still a competitive game. Like I don't know if you can remember, but Jalen Petrie made like quite a few big plays and a couple big hits in that game in particular. So fast forward to this season, tables are kind of turned. Cowboys are down and out. Um, yeah, Cowboys are down and out. They lost their quarterback for the season. Um, they got they're cycling through a backup in the third string. They're trying to figure out what they want to do for the year. So they it used to be like Cowboys could care less about this game. Probably their fans would probably tell you that they could care less about playing the quote unquote lowly Texans. But now the thing has changed, where it's like they probably want this win more more than they wanted this win in previous years. You know what I'm saying? So definitely it's going to be a doozy. So with that being said, it's only a couple of things that Cowboys, excuse me, only a couple of things that the Texans got to do to win this game. So Real simple things. Number one, don't fall into the trap. Yes, it's the Dallas Cowboys. They are terrible this year. And things are probably about to get worse. You know what I'm saying? Every week the players been shooting at media members. Michael Parsons threw a shot at his head coach. Uh, you know what I'm saying? It's just things that have gotten like as bad. Like they should have been had a players only meeting, like quite a few times. Um, so yeah, things are bad. They lost their quarterback for the season. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but things are just really, really down for them right now. That does not mean they will not put up a fight. Reason that they are likely going to put up a fight. Michael Parsons, he just returned last week. Um, yeah, after what I'm saying, missing a few games due to injury. So now he's back in the lineup, and this is going to be his second game of the year. So he's going to be looking to kind of just really making plays and not letting the season go to waste. You know what I'm saying? At least until it's like probably just done. You know what I'm saying? At least until he feels like this team is just completely out of playoff competition numerically. And if he doesn't decide that, they'll probably decide that for him, so they don't risk him getting hurt and missing a whole bunch of time next year. So he's going to be on that field. He's going to be terrorizing things up for sure. So O line, whatever we learned in the past few weeks, get ready to implement that. Execute. So all these players only meetings, all this talk about, we gonna do this, everything's on the table. It's time to execute. You know what I'm saying? We talked a good game about what we're gonna do to fix all the issues that we're facing right now. It's really time to execute. This is Texans are a talented football team on paper. You know what I'm saying? And not even just on paper, on the field. You know what I'm saying? Dallas is talented too, but they not talented this year. You know what I'm saying? Like they're really struggling, going through some stuff. So the Texans, they just have to get out there. They just have to play football. They just have to execute, be physical. You know what I'm saying? Be fast, be strong. Like just get out there and play ball. You know what I'm saying? Houston is a talented team full of weapons everywhere, just about. Um, it's not just, and offensively they got weapons. Defensively, they've been doing great. You know what I'm saying? It's just, they just been giving up, big plays here and there, which has turned the tide on a few games. But they can actually, they are actually great. This is a very wonderful unit. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Lassiter and Caleb Bullock coming along as rookies. This team can be very, very, very dangerous. But they have to execute. And it starts with this game. They have to execute. Time for action. No more time for talk. So I told you I'd be quick on that game preview. But um, that's all I got this week. This all the Texans have to do. Just don't fall into the trap. Don't fall into this trap game. And you know what I'm saying? Cowboys, they're gonna put up a fight, put up a better fight against them. And also just execute. You know what I'm saying? It's time for action, no more time for talk. Go out there, execute, inspire each other with your play on the field. So that's all I got for y'all this week. If you're watching this video on YouTube, like this video, click the subscribe button to my page. If you're watching this on Facebook, facebook.com/Brandon blog. Like my page, like this video, share this content. So I am Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.